it's been a long time since my last video. So this is just a quick update thing because my footage got lost and stuff has been really busy, so I haven't been able to refilm, and now it's been a long time since I filmed the original stuff anyway, so there's no point redoing it. I just thought I'd do a quick kind of recap of the books I've been reading. There aren't that many because, like I said, had January exams and other stuff that just meant life has been crazy. Also, a number of the books that I have read I don't have either in physical form or here because I've lent them out, which is obviously a good indicator. The first book I believe I read since my last kind of update thing, I'd read The Syndicate, but that was a book I got off Goodreads, and I was talking to a friend who I lent it to, and I agree with them. I think the middle section was the weakest. The beginning was alright, and the ending was okay. It wasn't my kind of story. It felt a bit cheesy, a bit cliche. You know, not my cup of tea. Anyway, next book, Dash and Lily's Book of Dares, but that was just an amazing book. It actually inspired my New Year's resolution. That was by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. Just so great. I liked both of the main characters. Lily, I think for some people is a bit too sweet, but I like that kind of character, and Dash was just hilarious. I loved him. It did have a slow section, but I wouldn't let that deter you. It's worth it. It makes you laugh. It's quite a light book, but it's great. Then I read this side, Pandemonium by Lauren Oliver, and I really love this cover. I think it's beautiful. It's in a field and it's got like a silhouette and it's got light. I love those kind of photos. It's book 2, and the first book in the series is this one, Delirium, and it has a completely different cover, but there we go. I found it really interesting. It's about this world where love is seen as a disease and you get cured when you are 18, 16, one of those two ages. It was the carrying on from where the first book left off, and cliffhanger. I didn't really know where they were going, but I really enjoyed it. It surprised me quite a lot. I thought it's quite unusual writing style, but I liked it, and believe the third and final book in the trilogy is out now. Next book I read was Cinder by Marissa Meyer, and unlike popular opinion, I did not like this book. I started it a long time ago and then I couldn't get through it. I got stuck. I thought it sounded amazing when I read the sample, and I was like, I have to get me this book, and then I managed to get it in the end, and then I didn't like it. For someone who is often surprised by plot twists and such, I found it kind of predictable, which is strange because I know there is so much love for this book in the community, but I didn't really share in this. Similar situation to Legend by Mary Lou, which I still haven't got through yet, but I'm, Cinder is about this girl who's a cyborg in New Beijing. It's set in the future and it's a retelling of Cinderella, but different. Then I read The Unwritten Rule by Elizabeth Scott. I wanted to read that for a long time. Another kind of light contemporary read about this girl who has liked her best friend's boyfriend for a long time. And it's not just a fleeting kind of lustful thing. She has really liked this guy. Her friend, Brianna, she's really pretty, popular, so she could have any boy. She also has some family issues, which the book goes into a little bit. Basically, it's about that awkward situation because Brianna constantly wants her friend around her while her boyfriend is there, and so that puts, obviously, the main character in an awkward position. And then I read The Raven Boys in the Raven Cycle trilogy by Maggie Stiefvater. I'd read Shiver by her and didn't really want to read the rest in that series because I thought Shiver was good as a standalone kind of thing. But anyway, The Raven Boys, lots of people have been reading it, saying it's really good, so I was like, why not give it a go, because I had a voucher for W.H. Smith's. It was amazing. I really loved it. As soon as I finished, I was like, is the next book out yet? Sadly it's not. It's due out later this year, September or something. It was so good. I've already lent it out to someone. I thought quite a unique idea. I really like the characters, Gansey, Blue and stuff. It revolves around this girl called Blue and her family is made up of psychics, but she has no power herself. She makes other people's powers stronger. And then there's the whole other group, Gansey and his pals, and how they link together. I was a bit surprised how one of the themes that was quite prominent on the blurb wasn't really touched on, but I was fine with that. It was really interesting nonetheless. And then I read Beautiful Creatures. I found it interesting. I did like it, and I thank the friend who lent it to me. At first, I didn't feel that invested in the characters or the story, but yes, everyone must know about this book. But it's about this girl who's a caster and this boy who is not, and they develop some feelings for each other, and that difficult situation it puts them in, especially when the caster is meant to be turning dark, she thinks. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to be seeing the film. I'm not sure, and I don't know whether I'm going to be reading the rest of them, because it did get better as it continued. I thought the ending was quite tense. I was invested by that point, but I don't know. There are just so many books to read that I'm not sure whether I will be reading that one. Finally, Meant to Be by Lauren Morrill. It's a book about an American teenager who comes over to London on a school trip and is trying to find love, kind of, and the trouble, unusual circumstances that are getting her into, that kind of stuff. And I love Americans' perspective on London and Britain, and I really like that one. I finished it pretty quickly. I would say, looking back on it, it wasn't actually as good as I thought it was while I was reading it, but it was fine, it was light, and it was quite funny. I hope to have another video up really soon. Bye!
I become afraid of the dark.